Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. The feel of the city excited him. Examine by touch. Come to believe on the basis of emotion, intuitions, or indefinite grounds. I feel that he doesn't like me. Perceive by a physical sensation, e.g., coming from the skin or muscles. Examine, a body part, by palpation. A property perceived by touch. Undergo an emotional sensation or be in a particular state of mind. An intuitive awareness. He has a feel for animals. Be conscious of a physical, mental, or emotional state. My cold is gone, I feel fine today. Be felt or perceived in a certain way. The ground feels shaky. Find by testing or cautious exploration. Grope or feel in search of something. Have a feeling or perception about oneself in reaction to someone's behavior or attitude. You make me feel naked. Manual stimulation of the genital area for sexual pleasure. The girls hated it when he tried to sneak a feel. Pass one's hands over the sexual organs of. Produce a certain impression. It feels nice to be home again. Undergo passive experience of. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. An intuitive understanding of something. He had a great feeling for music. A vague idea in which some confidence is placed. What are your feelings about the crisis? The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. The surface had a greasy feeling. A physical sensation that you experience. He had a queasy feeling. The experiencing of affective and emotional states. She had a feeling of euphoria. Physics, the 6 kinds of quarks. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. The taste experience when a savory condiment is taken into the mouth. Lend flavor to. Physics, the 6 kinds of quarks. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. The taste experience when a savory condiment is taken into the mouth. Lend flavor to. Take charge of or deal with. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. Have faith or confidence in. Give a certain impression or have a certain outward aspect. This project looks fishy. Look forward to the probable occurrence of. She is looking to a promotion. The feelings expressed on a person's face. A look of triumph. Be oriented in a certain direction, often with respect to another reference point, be opposite to. The house looks north. Search or seek. We looked all day and finally found the child in the forest. The act of directing the eyes toward something and perceiving it visually. He went out to have a look. Accord in appearance with. You don't look your age. Convey by one's expression. She looked her devotion to me. Have a certain outward or facial expression. How does she look? Perceive with attention. Direct one's gaze towards. She looked over the expanse of land. Physical appearance. I don't like the looks of this place. Any property detected by the olfactory system. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. It had the smell of treason. The faculty that enables us to distinguish scents. The act of perceiving the odor of something. Have an element suggestive of something. This passage smells of plagiarism. The sensation that results when olfactory receptors in the nose are stimulated by particular chemicals in gaseous form. She loved the smell of roses. Become aware of not through the senses but instinctively. I smell trouble. Emit an odor. The soup smells good. Inhale the odor of. Perceive by the olfactory sense. Smell bad. He rarely washes, and he smells. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. Any incorporeal supernatural being that can become visible, or audible, to human beings. Infuse with spirit. The company spirited him up. Animation and energy in action or expression. The state of a person's emotions, especially with regard to pleasure or dejection. He was in good spirits. An inclination or tendency of a certain kind. The intended meaning of a communication. A fundamental emotional and activating principle determining one's character. The vital principle or animating force within living things. A quality of a given color that differs slightly from another color. The elastic tension of living muscles, arteries, etc. that facilitate response to stimuli. The general atmosphere of a place or situation and the effect that it has on people. A clergyman improved the tone of the meeting. A notation representing the pitch and duration of a musical sound. Give a healthy elasticity to. Let's tone our muscles. Music. The distinctive property of a complex sound, a voice or noise or musical sound. The muffled tones of the broken bell summoned them to meet. A musical interval of two semitones. The quality of a person's voice. He began in a conversational tone. Vary the pitch of one's speech. Utter monotonously and repetitively and rhythmically. A steady sound without overtones. They tested his hearing with pure tones of different frequencies. Change the color or tone of. Tone a negative. Change to a color image. Tone a photographic image. Linguistics. A pitch or change in pitch of the voice that serves to distinguish words in tonal languages. The Beijing dialect uses 4 tones. The quality of something, an act or a piece of writing, that reveals the attitudes and presuppositions of the author. The general tone of articles appearing in the newspapers is that the government should withdraw. The length of breadth of a finger used as a linear measure. Examine by touch. The customer fingered the sweater. Feel or handle with the fingers. Finger the binding of the book. Any of the terminal members of the hand, sometimes excepting the thumb. Her fingers were long and thin. Indicate the fingering for the playing of musical scores for keyboard instruments. One of the parts of a glove that provides covering for a finger or thumb. Search for on the computer. I fingered my boss and found that he is not logged on in the afternoons. The act of discovering something. Come upon, as if by accident, meet with. We find this idea in Plato. Discover or determine the existence, presence, or fact of. Come to believe on the basis of emotion, intuitions, or indefinite grounds. I find him to be obnoxious. Perceive or be contemporaneous with. Get or find back. Recover the use of. Accept and make use of one's personality, abilities, and situation. My son went to Berkeley to find himself. Make a discovery. Receive a specified treatment, abstract. These aspects of civilization do not find expression or receive an interpretation. A productive insight. Establish after a calculation, investigation, experiment, survey, or study. Find the product of two numbers. Make a discovery, make a new finding. Get something or somebody for a specific purpose. Decide on and make a declaration about. Find someone guilty. Come upon after searching. Find the location of something that was missed or lost. Did you find your glasses? Obtain through effort or management. Perceive oneself to be in a certain condition or place. Succeed in reaching. Arrive at. The meaning of a word or expression. The way in which a word or expression or situation can be interpreted. The dictionary gave several senses for the word. Perceive by a physical sensation, e.g., coming from the skin or muscles. Sound practical judgment. Common sense is not so common. Become aware of not through the senses but instinctively. I sense his hostility. The faculty through which the external world is apprehended. In the dark he had to depend on touch and on his senses of smell and hearing. A general conscious awareness. A sense of security. A natural appreciation or ability. A keen musical sense. Comprehend. I sensed the real meaning of his letter. Detect some circumstance or entity automatically. This robot can sense the presence of people in the room. Examine. A body part, by palpation. The nurse palpated the patient's stomach. A property perceived by touch. Go through, mental or physical states or experiences. Experience vertigo. Undergo or live through a difficult experience. Undergo. Undergo an emotional sensation or be in a particular state of mind. Have first-hand knowledge of states, situations, emotions, or sensations. An event is apprehended. A surprising experience. The accumulation of knowledge or skill that results from direct participation in events or activities. A man of experience. The content of direct observation or participation in an event. He had a religious experience. Share the suffering of. The atmosphere of an environment. A particular environment or surrounding influence. A particular environment or surrounding influence. There was an atmosphere of excitement. The mass of air surrounding the Earth. There was great heat as the comet entered the atmosphere. The weather or climate at some place. The atmosphere was thick with fog. A distinctive but intangible quality surrounding a person or thing. An atmosphere of defeat pervaded the candidate's headquarters. A unit of pressure. The pressure that will support a column of mercury 760 mm high at sea level and 0 degrees centigrade. The envelope of gases surrounding any celestial body. The atmosphere of an environment. A particular environment or surrounding influence. Present reasons and arguments. A rational motive for a belief or action. The reason that war was declared. The state of having good sense and sound judgment. He had to rely less on reason than on rousing their emotions. Decide by reasoning. Draw or come to a conclusion. We reasoned that it was cheaper to rent than to buy a house. The capacity for rational thought or inference or discrimination. We are told that man is endowed with reason and capable of distinguishing good from evil. A justification for something existing or happening. They had good reason to rejoice. A fact that logically justifies some premise or conclusion. There is reason to believe he is lying. An explanation of the cause of some phenomenon. The reason a steady state was never reached was that the back pressure built up too slowly. Think logically. The children must learn to reason. Come to a close. Reach a conclusion after a discussion or deliberation. Decide by reasoning. Draw or come to a conclusion. Bring to a close. The committee concluded the meeting. Reach agreement on. They concluded an economic agreement. Decide by reasoning. Draw or come to a conclusion. To become aware of through the senses. I could perceive the ship coming over the horizon. Become conscious of. She finally perceived the futility of her protest. Include in scope. Include as part of something broader. Have as one sphere or territory. Get the meaning of something. Do you comprehend the meaning of this letter? To become aware of through the senses. A distinguishing style. This room needs a woman's touch. Make a more or less disguised reference to. Consume. She didn't touch her food all night. The event of something coming in contact with the body. He longed for the touch of her hand. Be relevant to. A suggestion of some quality. There was a touch of sarcasm in his tone. Have an effect upon. The act of putting two things together with no space between them. At his touch the room filled with lights. Be equal to in quality or ability. Your performance doesn't even touch that of your colleagues. A communicative interaction. He got in touch with his colleagues. A slight attack of illness. He has a touch of rheumatism. Affect emotionally. I was touched by your kind letter of sympathy. The faculty by which external objects or forces are perceived through contact with the body, especially the hands. Only sight and touch enable us to locate objects in the space around us. Tamper with. Don't touch my CDs. To extend as far as. The chair must not touch the wall. A slight but appreciable amount. This dish could use a touch of garlic. Be in direct physical contact with. Make contact. The two buildings touch. The sensation produced by pressure receptors in the skin. She likes the touch of silk on her skin. Color lightly. Cause to be in brief contact with. He touched his toes to the horse's flanks. Comprehend. He could not touch the meaning of the poem. Deal with. Usually used with a form of negation. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. Deftness in handling matters. He has a master's touch. Make physical contact with. Come in contact with. She never touched her husband. Perceive via the tactile sense. Helen Keller felt the physical world by touching people and objects around her. The act of soliciting money, as a gift or loan. He watched the beggar trying to make a touch. The feel of mechanical action. This piano has a wonderful touch. A construct whereby objects or individuals can be distinguished. Self-confidence is not an endearing property. Any movable articles or objects used on the set of a play or movie. Something owned. Any tangible or intangible possession that is owned by someone. That had as my property. Any area set aside for a particular purpose. The president was concerned about the property across from the White House. A basic or essential attribute shared by all members of a class. Having knowledge of. Having knowledge of. Their intelligence and general knowingness was impressive. Shrewdness demonstrated by knowledge. Having knowledge of. His sudden consciousness of the problem he faced. An alert cognitive state in which you are aware of yourself and your situation. He lost consciousness. Having knowledge of. Range of what one can know or understand. Range or scope of what is perceived. Having knowledge of. He had no awareness of his mistakes. State of elementary or undifferentiated consciousness. The crash intruded on his awareness. Be priced at. Represent, as of a character on stage. Form or compose. These constitute my entire belonging. Be identical or equivalent to. Have life, be alive. A light, strong, brittle gray toxic bivalent metallic element. Have an existence, be extant. Work in a specific place, with a specific subject, or in a specific function. Have the quality of being. Copula, used with an adjective or a predicate noun. Occupy a certain position or area, be somewhere. What is behind this behavior? Spend or use time. I may be an hour. To remain unmolested, undisturbed, or uninterrupted, used only in infinitive form. Let her be.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.